Game. Got my 6 guys here. Hello, my name is Andrew Eccles, and this is my policy persuasive speech number 2, the 3rd speech of this semester. And I chose to pick the topic of Obamacare and healthcare and the latest debates and what's going on with that. This is just a little example of what how big Obamacare is. It's 7 feet tall, 20,000 pages to this date, and over 11.5 million words, and 5.5 million Americans have lost their health insurance in the last 50 days, just from getting kicked off and booted off their health insurance plans. So like I said, the topic is the total repeal of Obamacare and bringing health care back as centered towards the patient and solely based in the private market, not in the government. I kind of went over how big that law is from 7 feet up, from the floor there. So it's kind of crazy. Anyways, the Constitution was only 6 pages. That was a law based on liberty and individual rights, and this doesn't look like too much freedom to me. So Obamacare, like I said, has 20,000 pages, 11.5 million words. So I think most Americans have finally come to the reality lately of just how much of a train wreck this law is, and already is, and just what it will end up doing to the economy and our individual freedoms as well. Obamacare has been in law for over a month, and in that time nearly 5.5 million as of today have lost their health insurance coverage, forced out by skyrocketing premiums that small businesses and other employers can't afford. 95% of businesses in the U.S. are small business, and unless they have 50 people or less employed, they can enroll them in this law. If they have more than 50, then they'll be fined and penalized for having too many employees, which just doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. So anyways, I'm not going to stand up here and have a speech about all the negative things about Obamacare. I think we're all smart enough to kind of figure that out on our own. Just the website itself can't even run. So, what's that say? The government can't even run the post office. So, they're not going to even be able to run a health insurance, let alone health care. So I'm just going to talk about simple conservative solutions to a not so very complicated, problem. Healthcare is really not a big problem. It's been made into a big problem by the media and them having to put this law in effect. So, kind of go over here. So yeah, this is a giant problem and a theft of our freedoms and incomes called the Affordable Care Act. The solutions are simple and basic, just like our Constitution, which so many leaders in Washington on both sides of the aisle forget. We even have in effect as our protection against this kind of law. So advantages: once the law is repealed and 1/6 of the economy is returned back to the American taxpayers in the private market of healthcare, we then put in place simple solutions and ideas to bring back patient privacy, competition, and medical innovations. That's what we need to bring back and to turn this law around and repeal it. Some of the solutions are, you should be able to choose on your own, individual control, and carry your own health insurance. If it's too expensive at work or you don't get enough coverage, then you should have the freedom to search independently outside what the workplace is offering. You know, I think we're kind of limited to this day on, you know, we feel stuck to having to do whatever our employers are doing. So that's one idea. Coverage for pre-existing conditions. You know, our insurance rate shouldn't go up because, you know, shouldn't go up higher because of maybe a history of back injury or a heart condition or diabetes or something like that. It should be more lenient on pre-existing conditions. Let free markets provide the insurance, and healthcare services offer what people want. Competition. You know, you don't get any competition with government-run healthcare. Give assistance to those who need extra help through a civil society, the free market, and the states. And permanent prohibition of taxpayer-funded abortion. That's one of the things in this healthcare law that you know, Obamacare includes taxpayer-funded abortions and birth control. I mean, taxpayers shouldn't be on the tab for that. And of course, the best solution is to remove the government mandate forcing individuals to buy Obamacare in general, and let health insurance companies change their policy coverage. One of the laws within this law is that you can keep your health insurance. Yeah, you can keep it as long as they don't change anything. Well, the health insurance provider doesn't change anything. Well, everything changes in the medical world. There's new innovations in medical research. You get different medications. You get generic forms of medications. Prices change. You get different equipment. Prices constantly change, and that's kind of the reason, half the reason why health insurance goes up as it is because, you know, things get more expensive. There's more experimental research being done, and they make equipment, they make new medications, and so that's just an absurd regulation on that law itself. So I briefly covered the major problems that go along with this law and the financial threats that this law brings to the U.S. and its economy, and also to the threat of our freedom. And one of the biggest threats is just that privacy between your doctor and you. Another regulation is there has to be a government middleman in between you and your doctor to tell you what you can and can't get, you know, with the medical care. It's up to the government to make the final choice, not your doctor. So I have listed some simple solutions to the big government problems that have been handed to us in this law. There is no need for government to intrude any more into our lives, and especially into our healthcare system. Like I said, they can't even run the post office. So, you know, this will obviously separate the doctor-patient bond. When I talked about the advantages to each of the solutions I listed, these are long-term solutions over an individual's lifetime. So in conclusion, do some research on your own. Heritage.org is a good site that I used for this speech, and it's a good site to look up just common sense ideas and solutions in general. The Affordable Care Act isn't about being affordable or about better health care. It's going to be more expensive in the long run. It's all about control. Up to 95 million people are expected to lose their health insurance if this law is fully implemented. So yeah, that was just all we need is just a few simple tune-ups. That's all we really need for healthcare, instead of you know, making it a lot more complicated than what it really should be. So that's my speech. Thanks for watching.